Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we're looking at name illustrations. A name illustration is where you change the letters of your name into illustrations or pictures of things that you like and enjoy. So you change the letters into objects. You might have to bend them to fit every which way, but it looks awesome. These are some middle school examples. If you would like to make a name illustration, you're going to need a pencil, Sharpie, some coloring supplies, and maybe a ruler. That would be helpful. To start, I'm going to sketch my name on my paper, holding it horizontally, and I'm going to sketch it super light, using that ruler to help me out and guide me to make my name in the middle of my paper. Drawing super light because I'm just going to erase it later. Now, before anyone says, I can't fit my name, there's too many letters, you need to scale it down to size. What that means is that if you take your ruler and map out how many letters are in your name, you know exactly how big you can make each letter. All it's called is proportion, making something to size with that paper. So if my name is short, like it is, Miss Q, I would make it bigger. If my name is very long and has a lot of letters, I would just make it a little bit smaller. Now I'm going to make my letters into different objects. So right on top of there, I'm going to draw different objects that represent me. I started out with some art supplies, a pencil, some crayons, and a marker. But now I have to get a little bit more creative because now I'm not just thinking about straight lines and things I could build the letter M with in person. I have to think about how I could bend objects to fit into those letters. So for the S, it could be something like yarn. That's an easy way to make an S with something that bends. It could be a game controller with the USB cord, whatever. For the dot in my name, that's easy. I can draw a Mickey balloon because I love Disney. For the Q, I'm gonna go back to art supplies and draw some scissors. But now, it would make sense if the scissors were cutting yarn. So instead of doing the S with yarn, I'm actually going to make the Q be the yarn. This is why it's important to start with pencil because you might need to erase. So I'm actually going to turn the S into a cat because I realize that's an important thing about me. I love cats, so I'm going to turn my S into a cat. Think about the way that something could bend to make that letter. How would you move your body to make that letter S? You would move it so that part of it was curved at the top and then the bottom curved at the bottom. So I'm making my cat stretch out into the letter S, using that tail to make the top curve and then the paws and the face to make the bottom curve. You can stretch any object into whatever letters. Even if it was a pencil, I could have stretched it and made it a stretchy pencil into an S. Then I'm going to trace over all of my objects in my name with a marker. This is a really important step to make sure that your name really stands out before we add color. It's going to be much easier if you drew bigger to trace over your pencil lines. If you drew really small, you might want to consider using a smaller marker or pencil to trace over top. This is important because now I get to go erase. I'm using a large eraser and erasing in the safety zone of my letter L to clean up my pencil lines. Now I'm ready to add the color. I'm going to try to really color in these objects to make them stand out. If I just left them the color of the paper or plain black and white, then it wouldn't really be able to tell what they were as easily. I'm going to think about contrast. Contrast is when something stands out against the other. So I'm switching my colors for each object. I'm not coloring them all in the same, even though I could easily have had a yellow crayon next to the yellow pencil and then a yellow marker. But I decided to make them all different so that those objects stood out. But you can still easily tell that my name says Miss Q, but it's all made out of things that represent me. Art supplies, cats, Disney, and, more art supplies. No surprise there. So because my name was so short, I still have time to make more letters. So I'm going to say art underneath. If you wanted to get really tricky, you could write art portfolio, but you don't have to. I decided to do some more art supplies, some plants because I love plants, and then a palm tree as the T. Here are some more examples to get you inspired for what you will create. Remember, make each letter into something that represents you, something that you enjoy or like. Have fun, artists!